Hey y'all, Moses here. In today's training room video, we're going to be taking a little bit of a different approach. We're going to be looking at some of the gear I use. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the focal point. There's lots of equipment in this room, but the focal point is always going to be the monitor. And I think that showcasing what I use and how I use it will be beneficial to those who are looking to find maybe a decent monitor, as well as something that'll give them a little bit more visual fidelity. So without further ado, let's get started. This is the Predator XB1. This is a 27-inch 2560 by 1440p resolution IPS panel that comes obviously with 4 millisecond gray to gray response time and 350 nit brightness. It also has a Pubg eye tracker built into the bottom, and this has been my primary monitor for quite some time. I moved to 2560 by 1440p to gain a slight edge in visibility when it comes to resolution. I always used 1440p in the past. I went back to 1080p to try a different monitor, but ultimately I play more than just PUBG, so I wanted something that could do more than just your baseline high-def gaming. Now, this is a WQHD screen. One of the things I love about the monitor is its slim bezels. There's a lot of screen real estate, and the footprint of a 27-inch monitor is already quite large, so having those thin bezels really helps. Now, the bottom lip is a little bit thicker, but that's where all the internals are kept, not to mention that's where the eye tracker lives as well. Now, I use these monitors in tandem. I'm actually using a 4K version of the same monitor on the left-hand side. Now, the 4K monitor doesn't quite get up to the refresh rate of the primary monitor, which, by the way, is 165 hertz. Now, the 4K monitor taps out at 60 hertz, so it's, well within what I need for a secondary monitor if I'm playing a 4K game or if I'm just using it for multitasking when I'm editing video or otherwise. I also use the 4K monitor as a streaming PC monitor, so it really helps to have that extra resolution to make sure I can have all my windows fit on the screen when I'm streaming. Now, the one thing I do recommend if you're going to get an XB1 is making sure you have a very beefy graphics card. Now, that 1440p isn't super hard to run, but specifically for a game like PUBG, which, let's be honest, isn't tremendously optimized, you're going to need decent graphics power to go after it. Now, I think the one thing I also like about 1440p is that it's a go-between between the very outdated 1080p and the still not quite ready for primetime 4K resolution. 4K gaming is in a lot better of a position than it was in a couple of years ago, where it was just for the rich and famous. With the 2080 Ti's coming out, you can definitely game in 4K, but most companies are assuming you're gaming on either 1080p or on 1440p at the maximum. So the 1440p allows you to not spend crazy amounts of money on a gaming setup and also gives you a little bit more visual fidelity. So I really like the monitor. And the way I have it set up with the eye tracker, it really adds a second layer to my stream as well. So being able to do that educational content is something I really enjoy. Now, as far as the game play is concerned, I think that the monitor itself really reproduces colors. You can dial it in whatever way you want. The monitor has a tremendous score as far as color accuracy is concerned. But otherwise, I think that once you kind of get used to that extra resolution, it's really hard to go back. So in PUBG specifically, I do play at 1440p, obviously, and I play at high resolution on textures, so I can kind of find how to spot enemies a little bit better. Now, I have separate videos on spotting enemies and graphic setup guides. I don't want to get too deep into that, but I really do think that that 1440p provides an edge. So if you're into that kind of thing and you're looking for an upgraded monitor, this thing runs at $799, which is a great price considering how much these things used to cost even a year or two ago. Thanks for taking the time to watch this Predator training room video. Now, I talked a lot about monitors, and obviously there's a lot to be discussed as far as personal preference is concerned, but I've had a tremendous time using this thing. I hope that you guys understand that even though this is technically a sponsored video, that you can really get a lot out of this thing, and it'll serve you well from years to come. A lot of people looking for that upgrade path. 1440p, I think, is a good middle ground while we wait for 4K to mature. But if you're looking for a 4K monitor, Acer makes a lot of great ones as well. So check out the Predator website for something like the X27. That's the ultimate 4K monitor. Thanks again, guys, for watching. And until next time, I'll see you out there.